Welp, Civ 7 has finally been announced, and I couldn't be more excited. While Civ 6 was an all-around excellent entry into the franchise, it's definitely starting to show its age at this point. Why? I can't even remember the last time I saw Civ 6's category on the front page of Twitch. That's why, in this video, we'll be looking at what Civ 7 can learn from other popular games in order to achieve the widespread popularity that this franchise has long deserved. Before we get into my recommendations, however, I feel it's only right to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Herson, one of the top competitors in Civ 6 multiplayer, with over 2,300 hours in the game. But I don't just play Civ 6. I've also mastered just about every other popular strategy game out there, reaching the top ranks in League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics, and mastering many other games besides. Through all these hours of strategy game mastery, I've gained unique insights into the art of game design. Using my expertise as a guide, we'll be examining 3 suggestions I've devised pertaining to how Civ 7 could learn from other games in order to improve upon its prestigious 4X formula. The first item on our list, the graphics. If you are around for the release of Civ 6, you'll remember that its slightly cartoony art style caused quite the stir. It's no wonder, players were used to the much more realistic art style of Civ 5.
Sid Meier's Civilization V introduces ultra-realistic graphics that showcase the thriving landscapes for you to explore, battle over, and claim as your own.
The cartoony graphics of Civ 6 left me feeling disappointed as well. After all, they weren't nearly cartoony enough. You see, modern gamers don't like photorealism. Kids these days are all obsessed with their Fortnites and their Minecrafts. In order for Civ 7 to succeed, it'll need to adapt to the market. Not only should the graphics be even more whimsical, Firaxis could afford to implement more cosmetic options as well. Look to Call of Duty as a model. Those games used to be dead serious, with the only character customization allowed being military uniforms. Now, there's all manner of silly, wacky outfits that players can dress up in, and as far as I can recall, nobody's ever complained about the direction modern Call of Duty has taken. Civ 7 could be the same. I've taken the liberty of rendering an artistic mock-up, demonstrating how the character designs of various leaders could be modernized for Civ 7. These cosmetics could even be woven into a battle pass system, like in Fortnite. Imagine the feeling of pride and accomplishment when you finally unlock the perfect outfit for Cleopatra. However, if you think that graphics are the only thing Civ 7 should lift from other modern games, you're not thinking big enough. After all, the main thing people keep coming back to the Sid Meier Civilization series for is the intricate, strategic gameplay. And what do other popular strategy games have that Civilization lacks most of all? That's right, ranked matchmaking and an elo system. All of the best strategy games have ranked matchmaking, League of Legends, chess, etc. A system like this is well overdue at this point for the Civilization series, IMO. It's obvious at this point that single-player games are a dying breed, and Civ 7 would do well to go all in on becoming an esport. Instead of launching the game and being greeted with a pathetic main menu like this, players should launch Civ 7 and immediately be bombarded with all sorts of esports news, streams, and a giant button that lets them queue up into ranked right away. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a great idea as always, Herson. Thank you, but it gets even better. By adding voice chat to the mix, Civ 7 can become the premier social experience for strategy gamers like us. Just imagine how much fun banter will arise from being stuck in the same competitive game as someone else for several straight hours. I'm sorry, could you speak English? We're on the North American server.
Нахуй я сказал, пидораска еба!
Doesn't this just seem like a lovely way to spend an afternoon? Even more, by making an official ranked mode, Firaxis would finally be able to police the rampant quitting that's plagued public multiplayer Civ lobbies for years. Finally, players who queue up for a multiplayer Civ game will be forced to set aside 5 hours of their life in order to play out games in full in one sitting. Those who leave prematurely can be banned by an automated system. With Firaxis at the helm, we can rest easy knowing that their perfect netcode will ensure that only the players who drop from the game on purpose are the ones that get penalized. For my final suggestion for Civ 7, I figured I'd throw all of the single-player kiddies a bone. While I don't think Sid Meier actually had a place for y'all in his original vision for the series, the fact of the matter is that the single-player audience for Civ is here to stay, and the newest entry in the series shouldn't completely leave them out. That's why my last suggestion takes inspiration from one of the greatest single-player game series of all time, Dark Souls. These games have a plethora of interesting game mechanics and have paved the way for numerous copycats over the years. I'm not suggesting Firaxis rips off the whole Souls-like formula. Fundamentally, Civ 7 should remain a 4X strategy game. The only thing I want them to copy is the greatest, most uncontroversial Souls-like mechanic of all, invasions. For those who are unaware, invasions are a mechanic in these games whereby players can enter into each other's single-player worlds in order to force PvP encounters. These invasions have long been a source of fun, community-building moments and are beloved by all. The specifics of how invasions are implemented vary from game to game. In Dark Souls 1, for instance, players can only have their worlds invaded while they have a buff known as Humanity active. In Elden Ring, players can only be invaded while they're playing in co-op with a friend. What I'm proposing for Civ 7, however, is that invasions are unconditional. That is, players can have their games invaded at any moment without the ability to opt out or even play the game offline. Think about all of the exciting possibilities this could enable. I've taken the liberty of creating a rough mock-up of what this could look like by making some tweaks to Civ 6, and the results speak for themselves. Having players be able to materialize their civilizations fully formed into your world, attack you for several turns, and then vanish into the winds afterwards, is just the thing we need to give single-player gamers a taste of what competitive gaming has to offer. And believe me, once they get their first taste, they'll be hungry for more. So, what do you think should be in Civ 7? Let me know in the comments below. That's all for today. Herson, signing out.